G'day everyone, welcome back to the shed. I'm Mark and this is my shed talk. Well, 2025 is here and Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you very much for your support during 2024 and I look forward to your ongoing support in 2025. Beside me is the Fowler steamroller that we've been working on for almost six, coming on 7 years now. This is a small road roller, built in 1926 like I said, and it's been an ongoing project that we've been tackling here for a long time. It's had its challenges and we've learned a lot as we've gone through. But today we're doing a little job for the wife in her craft room. We're doing the renovations, we're laying tiles, which is so much fun obviously. And I'm just making a little piece to go on the, one of the contractors we had in doing the plaster was a bit rough and he made a big hole in the plaster like they do. They just grab a hammer and smack it in. And so I'm making a piece out of aluminium to go on the water outlet to the toilet and to cover this hole. We're also going to give it a polish up. We're going to cut a thread in it, all that sort of thing. So come along for the journey and let's see what's going on. Right, so we're back over at the lathe now, milling machine that is, it's one of them too. I've already drilled a hole, 19mm hole. We've got a 1/2 inch BSP thread to go in there. Sorry folks, while I just get the glasses on. Here's our tap here, which I'll take this out and set this up so we can tap the hole and then go over onto the lathe and bring this down to size. Right, we're back after a bit of mucking around. So I've got the tap sitting in the hole. The hole's been drilled to the right diameter. In here, this is a spring-loaded tap follower. You can see that it's got about 15mm of movement. I'll just readjust and show you a better angle. There we go. Hopefully that's probably as good as it's going to get. It's maybe a bit close. Anyway, we'll lock that in place. And that's just going to keep enough pressure on the tap to keep it straight while I put the shifter on it. Right, so the little hole, or what I thought was a hole in the end of the tap, is just really a dimple. And it's no good. It's not going to help me out at all. So we're going to I've got it in the lathe here and I'm going to redo that hole in the end of the tap just to make it easier for me in the future and anyone else that I loan this tap out to, which is usually no one. So just sit that there, or we'll sit it somewhere. Get these things. I should have a magnetic base which I just lock on and job done. That would make life so much easier. Righto, bit of oil on the end of things to make life easy. I'm going to take it nice and slow. Righto, nothing's happening here. This is a carbon tap, it's not a high-speed steel tap, so it is slightly harder, but I thought the centre drill would get through it. I'll go for a bigger one. In fact, we'll take this out, we'll drop a carbide end mill in there. and see if that makes any difference. Yeah, all I'm doing is blunting the end. So this is a carbide end mill. It's about 3 mil diameter or something like that on there. Get that in. Carbide's obviously stronger than what we're drilling into, although we've got to take it nice and slow. Of course, at this stage, I thought this was just going to be an easy job, a relatively quick one. It is in some respects, but anyway, here we go. And we'll just go a little bit more, but that should be sufficient for the that tap follower to get in there and just hold it straight while I tap the hole. Right. Right, the reason why the carbide end mill was able to go into the carbon steel to harden is because obviously most people know that the carbon steel is softer than the carbide, and so what's got to give? The softer material is going to give over the harder material. I took it nice and slow because otherwise you can plunge in there too quick and you'll just break it and get nowhere. I would have liked to go on a bit further, but that'll do. Back over to the mill. Righto, we're back at it. I end up, get a bit closer here, I end up going to a bigger hole. That first one I used was just a little bit too small, so we went to 3 mil diameter and I went a bit deeper, and that's done the trick. So we've got a bit of lubrication on the tap itself. We'll bring this down. You'll see that the chuck goes down a fair way. There's a fair bit of travel there. Probably about 20 mil travel or something like that. And I'll just use the old trusty shift here as my... So that, like I said, that's going to give enough pressure on the tap. Let's see if I've got a spanner the right size. Now I don't have a tapping attachment and I don't have a tap wrench big enough. Righto. So these ratchet spanners are absolutely wonderful. This is a Trade Tools brand, open ender at one end, ring spanner on the other end, and we're going to use that as our tap wrench, just like so, and it just makes the job. Whoop. Does help if you get things right. There we go. Give that a bit more. Something I could do is make myself a tap wrench. There's plenty of videos on YouTube of people making tap wrenches for various different sizes. One of those things is, it's not always that often that you need one, but I suppose when you need one, and you never got one when you need one. So if you make one, you've got one. That's a pretty good theory. Righto, we've got a nicely tapped hole there now. Like I said, these taps are only carbon steel. They came in a set, 1/2 inch BSP F or 1/2 inch BSP fine. And we're doing a job in the wife's workroom to cover up a hole. We'll get this out of here. Now before we take it out, I'll get me chamfering tools and get that a chamfer. Also get into the habit of just cleaning the crap off your tap, but it'll also put a light little bit of lubrication on there to stop it from going rusty for next time, because the rust will get on it, it'll blunt the cutting edges and it won't do what you want it to do, and you'll swear and carry on and all that sort of stuff. Got a couple of different chamfer cutters. This is just one example. You buy them in a set. This is the biggest one. You can make your own with a bit of, if you've got the time. That's all we need. Brush that off. I'll leave our chamfer cutter in. Let's have a look at the other side. It'll need a chamfer too. So we've got a nice hole, but we've still got a bit of a burr there. So I'll just do this by hand. It's all right, it's fine, and we'll make that side the side that goes against the wall. Now, of course, sometimes when you do put a chamfer on, it does put a little bit of a burr on it. So we're just going to put that back in here. Just spin it by hand. Right. Now, most people probably wouldn't do that. I do. A little bit of overkill, that never hurts, and you got a really nicely formed thread there. Now, next job. I'm going to put this in the lathe and turn it to the diameter I need. How am I going to hold it? That's a good question. So, I have a pack of 3 taps here. That's them there. You buy them in a pack, whatever they cost. Look after them, you've got them, you know, for a long time. So I'm going to use this one. It's a bottoming tap. And I'll make sure I can take a cut off both sides, it wouldn't matter. That's right, this is the one I was going to. Right, I'm going to screw that into there. Like so. Now the jaws of I'm going to put this in the lathe, I'm going to hold this in the jaws of the chuck. Right. So that'll wind it, the cutting action will screw that into the chuck, or screw that on. I'm not going to be taking really big cuts. And I'll just pick you up and look at the side here. There you go, better view with a bit more light. You can see it sitting up there. And this is how it runs. Let's slow that down to 300. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Let's get it in gear mark. There you go. Our finished diameter is 90 mil. So what I'll do now, I'll find a tool, put it in there, and I'll start machining. Right, so now we've got our tool in place. We've knocked a bit more off. It's still a little bit odd shaped, but it won't take long to come off. Let's reposition this, see how we go. We'll steer it, here it's starting to cut now, we're just touching. Right, after a bit of stuffing around and a few little, not failures, but a few little issues, we're on a winner. So I'll take a cut, then I'll just pause it, or I'll just speed it up and I'll repeat the process till I get close to the finished size, and we'll come back to it then. There you go, that's turned out a bit better, a bit more pleasing to the eye. But just under 92 millimetres. The actual size doesn't matter. And I've just got to pick up a couple of tools off the ground which flew off. Right, so I've got a couple of little burrs to take off, so I'll put some nice little chamfers on there with the lathe file. That's come up beautifully. So I'll take that out now, and yeah, and we'll give that a polish up. We'll try those polishing what's the names I got on the linisher, whatever you call them, linisher belts, polishing linisher belts. End up had to put a couple of little packers behind it. Got the job done. So this is one of the polishing belts. This is the purple one. I'm not sure whether it's the really aggressive one or, I'm not too sure. I'll have to give it a try, see what happens. And where's going to be, it's too much glare outside. I'm going to have to change around, get a better angle for you guys. Let's just do it let's do it this way. Right, that to me is sort of scratching the surface, so let's try another one. Right, so that purple one is really aggressive. This is a greeny coloured one, sort of emerald colour. It's going to give a better finish, so I'll have a play with that, come back and show you. Woohoo! Right, that's getting better. That's coming up nice. A little sanding disc on there would be nice too. Obviously this is generating heat, so I need to, I'm not using any sort of wax or anything like that. It's just straight this. And your finishes are going to vary for whatever factor, whether you move it around, keep it still. Yeah, let's see what happens. Righto, that's got a nice circular pattern to it. Obviously work holding and everything else is going to make a difference. I pretty much like that. It's really nice. We'll get it nice up close. Right, and we'll show you where it's going to go. So this is, oh, there's a shed dog. Where's one? This is the wife's craft room. It's a work in progress. We've sort of tiled half of it. We've got to go back and tile the other side. So all of this stuff over here has got to be moved around and moved over here. We've got to grey up this, all that sort of fun stuff. This is the toilet. Now here's this hole I'm talking about. Oh, let's sit down here. There we go. And obviously it looks a bit ugly, and that's going to screw onto there. So what I've got to do now is go turn the water off, and I've got a tap to go on there, so we'll do this at the same time. Righto, so we've got the water turned off, and we're going to undo that now. Capture all the water. Let that drain out for a bit. Now we've got our tap to go on here, which the toilet will go into. Personally, I think some of these threads that are machined on these are too loose for what they do. That's just me personally. I'll screw that on and just see what it looks like. Okay, let's get that water dribbling out of there. And we're also going to see where the tap is going to end up. We had this left over because we were going to put it in the laundry, but it didn't sit the right way once it was all screwed up, and oh geez, even that's not going to sit the right way. Anyway, all right. Right, so here we go. We're going to roll this onto there, like so. It's a little bit wobbly, and that's just going to tighten up nicely, like that, covering that hole. And yes, I have left some dirty finger marks on there. I'll have to sort that out. But anyway, that's what we wanted. That's the end result, and that'll look nice, easy to clean. Righto folks, that's it. This is all done now. That's what it looks like. Got it in place. Just going to let the sealant take hold. We'll give it a test. All right, cheers in the next one. Have a good new year, everyone. Whistle.